you're live.
Welcome back, everyone, to the One Ring campaign. We've been playing for quite a while, and we have some fantastic players lined up for you tonight. Have made it all the way to book 3 of this campaign, and this will be chapter 2 of that section. And without further ado, we're going to hit the road, as it were. All right. And so it was that the One Ring was found by the most unlikely of hobbits, and it passed to his nephew, Frodo. And that hobbit, owing to his Tookish blood, no doubt, fell into an even more unlikely adventure. Through trouble and turmoil, Frodo traveled with his companions, Merry, Pippin, and the loyal Samwise Gamgee, out of the Shire. They passed over fields and crossed little green rivers. They floundered through forests and eventually came to the Barrow Downs, and then the house of Tom Bombadil. There, as fate would have it, they chanced upon our characters, and it was decided that the ring should continue east and north to Bree, where perhaps Gandalf the Grey would be waiting to lend a word of sage advice. But fortune did not fall kindly upon our travelers. Gandalf was not found in Bree. Instead, Barlaam Butterbur bestowed a letter from the wizard, late though it was, which said, "Bad news has reached me here. I must go off at once." He urged haste in the journey to Rivendell and vouched for Aragorn, son of Arathorn, who our heroes already knew but looked strange and uncomely to Frodo and the Shire hobbits. And so now we find ourselves in the mid-evening in Bree. It is April 17th in the year 3015 of the Third Age. You have visited the Prancing Pony, but have taken a room with the hobbits down the street at an inn called the Clutching Wench. But first, Grimir, Berendir, and Aglaron return from their watch on the road. They travel into town, drenched in rain. On either side of them are thatched roofs. There are inns, taverns, and local shops shutting down for the evening. Their boots are heavy and caked in mud. They must find their friends. Upper left is where you guys should be centered. And so the scene opens with Grimmer, Berendir, and Aglaron returning from west of town. They've spent the last several days scouting the area around Bree. The several days that they spent were more or less really boring. They didn't see many people. They saw some men coming up from the south here and there. Nothing too awful suspicious. They saw a few squirrels and a fox. But if they were looking for black riders who ushered with them a feeling of terror and loneliness and sadness, they did not find it. Instead, they figured it's time to head back into town and meet up with their friends. And I'll let you guys take it away.
The gate's closed, I'm assuming?
There's a gatekeeper there. It's open. But as you walk up to the gate, there's kind of like a wooden palisade there and a gatehouse. And as you approach, there's a door that shutters open and a man peeks through. "Who goes there? State your business."
The name is Berendir. I say open up. We seek shelter. Out of this cursed rain.
The gatekeeper kind of pokes his head out of the little hole in his palisade, and rain is slicked over his gray hair. You can see some soot kind of smudged over his nose. He looks at your group. Sounds about right. A dwarf? A man? What is that in the dark? A bleeding elf?
Hi,
They think we're
Agron
supposed to be walking
Mirkwood.
about. I've never seen such a thing. Mirkwood? Very well. Where might you be headed?
Do we know where the others are
Nope.
lodged? No.
We seek the rest of our companions. They are to travel here already.
The rest of your companions? I dare say I'd be able to help you if I knew a bit about what they look like, my good man.
About how long ago in theory would they have arrived?
You probably would think within the last few days, estimate.
They would have been newcomers here themselves, not more than scant days ago. This was an elf, a hobbit. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Another dwarf. Is that the only three? Player
Oh
character?
well, yeah, all the player characters, but then all the other hobbits were with them too. So
Yeah.
I do seem to recall such a troop. Lots of people been asking about hobbits these days. And he looks you over. Not one among you, are they? They're good at hiding in the shadows.
His face will sour as he continues to get drenched. He's like, no, there's no hobbits amongst us. We would like to... Yeah.
Agron makes a show of looking in his cloak.
Hold my shield up over my head and say, but we would like to get out of this game as quickly as possible.
Getting in my bloody beard, I can barely carry this thing around on its own. Come on now, lad.
I can see you blokes are sodden all the way down to the socks and boots. He takes his time and just looks at you, kind of considering. And from the little opening in the wall, you can see a big tankard of ale come up and slosh down his beard. Very well. Come on in. There's enough ne'er-do-gooders around here. I guess a few more won't hurt. Yeah. No. The gatehouse starts to open, and you guys are allowed passage into town. I don't know where your friends might have gone, but anybody that knows anything around here, they end up at the Pony. It'll be about a half-mile down the road on your right.
Very well, then to the Pony it is. He'll nod, but he will not say thank you to the gatekeeper. Gatekeeper's a really crappy man. That's Harry Goatleaf, ain't it?
That's Harry. Yep. So you guys make your way into Bree. On either side of you, it's not too late at night yet. It's like probably like 8 or 9 o'clock. There are these wagons kind of going past you. Some of them are just kind of pulled by people, and there's a few mules about. Here and there, there's kind of a scrawny-looking pony that pulls the carts that are laden with cabbages and produce. And, there's one that's laden with some wagon wheels. And up the road, you do see an area of town that looks like it's kind of has a couple different taverns and inns, and you can see light spilling from a window, and over the window there's a sign that's flapping in the wind and creaking back and forth. It's a wooden sign. It's like a horse that seems to be dancing.
This looks like the place he was talking about.
It's quite perceptive of you, elf. How'd you figure that?
Well, I wasn't sure you could read it.
You look at it and try to read whatever words are on it.
Berendil half-heartedly roll his eyes because he's had to deal with this past several days. It's like, let us not tarry here any longer. Quickly inside, rain has begun to bother my knee.
Agreed. Dane's beard, it's cold out here. How do you people live in this horrible weather when you could live inside a nice, cozy mountain hold?
And as you walk to the right, you come underneath the awning of the prancing pony and get your first taste of feeling a little dry. You can hear the rain pitter-pattering on the roof of the awning, and you walk inside, and the sights and smells of a tavern greet you. All right. Does everybody have sight there? Should.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So as you walk into the prancing pony, there are just people in there like drinking and hollering. Ah! You know, there's like a drinking game going on in the corner. There's some people smoking in one of the other tables, and they're just chatting away. There's some folks playing cards, and behind the bar, you see a rather portly man who seems to be, he has a tankard of ale in his left hand and like a French loaf of bread in the other. And he's yelling at this guy in front of him who was similarly rotund and has rosy cheeks. He goes, I told you to remind me to bring the letter. Now I'm going to be roast. Fit to be roast. Fit to be roast by a wizard, I say. He starts braiding him and beating him with the baguette. And don't blame me, Mr. Butterball. No, don't blame me. But I need to blame you for everything, Bob. Every time we come up short, it's your fault. You're quite a dimwit. Ah! And Barliman kind of storms off into the kitchen, and Bob to wipe down the counter. And he looks up to you. Ah, hey there. Fresh in from the rain, what can I do you for? And he rubs off his apron as the crumbs from the baguette kind of fall onto the counter, and he swipes them off onto the floor. Ah, Barliman can clean it up himself.
Yeah, but you're a little choppy.
Okay, I'm not choppy
right now.
anymore. I'm not green. I'm green. Okay, basically, yeah, Barliman was berating Bob behind the counter, and they're arguing about something, and that's it. I'm not going to repeat it.
Yeah, heard something about the letter, and he forgot something. Yeah, Berendir be doing the complimentary, customary stomping off, trying to dry himself as best as possible. And immediately look whenever he's addressed. Of course, y'all can respond however y'all want, if y'all want to go before him or not, but he'll quickly goes, yes, I'll have a hot tea and a shot of rye. Good sir.
Very well, says Bob. And he kind of wipes the crumbs off of his apron again, and hot tea and a shot of rye. Oh, that's quite a drink for quite a man. And he looks at Berendir and says, quite a tall man. Where you be from, good sir? And it does seem you've traveled in good company, if a little strange.
Berendir will look a little taken back and slightly annoyed, mostly out of pride, when he's asking him where he's from. It's like, isn't it obvious? And he just goes, I'm from Gondor, of course.
Gondor? Oh. You're not putting me on, are you? I know you just heard Mr. Barliman call me a dimwit. You're not putting me on, are you? He kind of narrows his eyes and look at you. At this point, he has his shot of rye and puts it in front of Berendir. The tea will be right up, sir.
Yeah, Berendir will de-sleeve his great shield and plump it in front of him really soundly. You know, kind of look stoically, like, you know, resting his hands on the top edge of it. It's like, do I look like the type to put someone on?
And Bob looks a little bit taken aback. Oh no, sir. I meant no offense. The only thing you're really putting on is someone upon that shield. Yeah. Your hot tea will be coming right up. No more questions from me.
said, no offense taken, good sir. Grabbed a draught of rye and down it. He says, excuse my foul mood. This cursed weather has me feeling a little bit agitated.
You and me both. We've had some queer times around here lately. People from all corners of the Shire, Breeland, Buckland, wandering in out of the rain, asking questions, not minding their business, threatening to roast my boss here.
Kind of raise a skeptic eyebrow at that, roasting your boss.
But none of my business, and I won't ask you none of yours. Although, I dare say... He kind of brushes it away. And he starts to wipe the table again oddly, and she can't help but talk. It's just that I've seen other dwarves around here lately, too.
Aye, and where are they heading?
And, that's none of my business. And if I did know, I wouldn't tell you. I've made too many mistakes already tonight. Too many mistakes.
Well, I'll tell you this. Lad, how about you get me a couple pints, I'll pay you extra for them, and the information for where my cousins went.
Your cousin?
Oh, yes, my cousins, of course.
He leans over to Grimmer and says, you can see there's like gin blossoms on his cheek. You throw an extra pint in for me, and you got yourself a deal, Master Dwarf.
Oh, I like the way you bargain. He's gonna go ahead and quickly get out his coin purse. And, here, an extra pint for you. And my 2 pints, and I'll be having word from where they went.
Absolutely, Master Dwarf. Let me just go fetch Mr. Barlowman back here. I don't want to go behind his back. Already done it once tonight. And he gives you the pints of ale. So there's 3 sitting there. One is kind of more towards him, so he can sip on it when he comes back. He goes into the kitchen, and you kind of hear some shouting in the back, and you hear voices. They told you to keep quiet, Bob. You run your mouth, all of Breeland's gonna know that Mr. Underhill's in town. Kind of comes out. Barlowman's wiping his saber. Oh, I'm so sorry. Can't find good help around here. We found Bob several years ago. Just won't leave, like a stray. Bob kind of shrugs. He says you've been asking questions about that wealthy-looking dwarf that wandered through here and his caravan of ne'er-do wells.
Aye, like me cousin Vidar.
Vidar. I don't reckon I remember the dwarf's name. I was half scared out of my wits by those men with him.
He's a tall, grim fella. He looks like a Northman, perhaps.
Aye. Keen eyes. Had a sullen way of speaking, though.
I recognize the man. He's probably hired help from my cousin. Anyway, where did you see him go?
Oh. Unfortunately, they didn't want to stay here with me. They took up with that Ranger Strider. I fear no harm will come to him. That Strider's in and out of here all the time, always sits in the corner with a gloomy look on his face. I'll tell you what. Bob, hold down the fort. I expect we'll be short some coin when I get back because you can't do math. But I'm going to take our new friends across the streets here to the Wedge. Bob just nods and goes out into the crowd. Starts to make the rounds of the men playing cards. And Barlowman looks to the elf and dwarf and man and says, all right, back out into the rain. Follow me.
And Grimmer will warm himself near that roasting pig there in the fire for a little bit before he steps back outside.
Aglaron just sinks back into his travel cloak.
Barander pays an extra coin or two and takes his hot tea with him.
So you guys go back out into the rain, and Berendir sips that hot tea as he again is just pelted with this drenching downpour.
Back mount the shield and do my best to cover the tea in the rain.
So the scene switches as they are walking across the street. There's a crossfade. As we again turn our tale to the attention of our heroes and the hobbits, we find ourselves in a cozy room. You are at the Clutching Wench. You can hear hushed and unhurried voices talking, as our adventurers finally have some time to settle down. A roaring fire and a pipe to smoke is no doubt a welcome pleasure. The talk then turns to darker discussion about Black Riders and the future. Aragorn is questioning Frodo about the journey so far. And there we were, within sight of Buckland Ferry, says Frodo. Though the light was low and my eyes could have deceived me. It was then that we heard the hooves, and terror overtook us. Indeed, says Pippin, piping up and speaking between draws off of a long-stemmed pipe. Lucky to escape with our hides we were, he says. I hope never to see such a thing again. We were all such terribly frightened. Not frightened enough, says Aragorn. He turns to Erebor and then Willward. Then the hobbits. I know what hunts you. The ring wraiths, servants of the enemy. They will not stop until they find what they are after. It seems like a shadow falls across the room as eyes turn to Frodo. There, upon a chain about the hobbit's neck, hangs a simple ring. It seems at once a trifle, but at the same time, the most important thing in the world. It's clear to you all that safety may never come to you again. The one ring has thrust itself into your midst. The question is, what do you do now? And at these dark words give me a little bit of RP about how you react, and everybody's going to make a corruption check. TN of 15.
Goody, hearing talk of Dark Riders, and given what he has seen on the road with his fellowship, he looks at Araviel. Araviel, could they be the same? The one that has been hunting us along the Misties?
Araviel looks over at Aragorn and then down to Goody, pulling his pipe out of his mouth and scratching his chin slightly. Yes, more than likely. Looking for hobbits on the east of the Misties and now on the west. There are no coincidences. Not like this.
And Goody shakes himself. How do we fight such things? The last time we squared up against a single rider, we nearly all fell.
We don't. We get to Rivendell as soon as possible. Stay off the road. Avoid them at all costs.
Aragorn nods. Do not fear overmuch, Master Hobbit. The ring wraiths are powerful indeed. They hold shapes that are fell to our eyes. But their strength lies in darkness and the unknown, in despair. Unless all 9 gathered, they'd be very wary to attack a place such as this, at least openly. For where people are gathered, there remains hope. And when there is light, there remains the will to fight. Aragorn unsheathes one of his swords. He has 2 of them hanging at his hip. Lays it across the table. Eravul can see that it's shattered about 1.5 feet below the hilt. You have my sword, all of you, and I will protect you until the end, or die trying. All right, corruption checks as the gravity of your tasks sinks in. And I'm going to make it for Vidar.
We roll off. Been some time.
It has been some time. It's wisdom.
Wisdom.
The new sheet's a little bit weird too. Target number is 14. I said 15, but I think 14 is the default for this system.
Okay.
Vidar passes. Undaunted. I'll let you RP for a second, and there's going to be a knock at the door.
Aravul agrees with Aragorn. And mine. We will see them to Rivendell safely.
Goody looks around. If Aravul stands before these black riders, then so will I. For where Aravul goes, I go. And if it means that I stand between you hobbits and the black rider, then so be it. No more shall fall to their sword, if we have anything to say about it.
Vidar sits back in his chair. He leans back and puts his boots up on a bench and gets a little closer to the fire. And Vidar looks like he's going to say something, but then thinks better of it. Instead, takes a long draw off of his pipe. Purple smoke swirls around his beard as he looks into the flames, pondering. Just then, there's a knock at the door. Hello? I'm dreadfully sorry to bother you again. This is the innkeeper, Butterbur. It's like the 3rd time he's been to you.
Arvel just puts his hand on his head, like rubs his temples slightly, and stands up and saunters over to the door. Yes, Mr. Butterbur, what is it?
He opens the door and it's raining outside, and behind him you can see the drenched forms of Grimmer and Berendir and Aglaron. I promise, my lord, no more late letters from me. I don't have any more desire to be roasted. I don't think on the second hand that you can be roasted twice. But these men, they say they're your friends, and, well, at first I thought better about bringing here, but they seem to know an awful lot about you.
He looks past Butterbur and stares at who's in the doorway. No, never seen them before. And he cracks a smile, and I jest.
Berendir's cup of tea goes rattling and starts sloshing everything over the side as he harumps with disbelief at the joke you just cut. He says, what did he say?
Extra advancement point for Tet for making his first joke as Aragorn. Last session he cracked a few.
It's canon.
Aravel kind of, worry not, Mr. Butterbur. We'll be out of your hair soon enough. Come in. He just kind of walks back over to where he was sitting.
Well, I thank you, but I dare say I best get back to the pony. You know, I left Bob in charge.
Well, hopefully it hasn't burned down by now.
He scammers out, and you can see him running across the muck in the street towards the prancing pony.
Goody, when he sees Berendir, Aglaron, and Grimur, he stands up on his chair. Berendir! You look like a wet dog. Come in. Sit by the fire, warm your old bones. How is the knee holding up?
Berendir's still shaking off the rain and the tea from and kind of looking at Aravel. Dour and grumpy. And cuts his eyes to Goodwill and he's like, it's making do with what I can. Good sir. His expression is kind of giving Aravel that there's a time and place for everything.
Agron favors Goody with a smile as he shakes Aravel's hand. Well met, old friend.
Well met. Did you find anything on the road?
Nay. We saw not a sign.
Well, let us hope that no news is good news.
Aye. Agron doesn't look entirely convinced, but kind of smiles anyway.
Berendir will take a couple sips of his watered-down tea, and then he'll go, for where are my manners? I've forgotten, Master Goodwill. I found you something along the road. Start patting through his pockets, looking for something. Reach into one of his belt pouches, and he'll pull out something, and his face kind of looks dejected. As he opens his palm, it looks like a clump of mud with a little wilted sprig of something in it, and it's all like watered down and waterlogged, and he's like, oh dear me, I do believe at one time this was a bit of pipeweed I found growing in the wild. Sad to say it's not in the greatest conditions now.
Wild pipeweed? Ah, Berendir, you always think of me, even when the times are tough. Well, no matter. Come sit by the fire and let me give you some of mine. Old Radagast was kind enough to share. It should certainly lift your spirits this fine evening. Well, not so fine with this rain.
I'll nod, kind of contemplate, token a little bit. He'll set it down and he goes, just the idea I had for your farm or something. Perhaps you can salvage it. Let it slide out of his hand. A nice little puddle of blood.
Ah, my farm. I have not thought about it since many a time. Nevertheless, just before you guys came in, we were discussing Dark Riders and the troubles that seek us on the road to Rivendell.
So we're still going then.
We must. Gandalf the Grey wishes it. And it seems riders are everywhere. Old Wilwood there, and you can see Wilwood is in the corner by the fire. When talk of Dark Riders came about, kind of withdrew into a shell and just sat there staring at the fire. He is being hunted, the hobbits are being hunted. And so shall we, once news spreads, and news does spread, doesn't it?
think this place will be safe to rest through the night?
I thought it was, but then we find that you three, while we know are our friends, were easily able to find this place. But I think for now it should be fine. But I don't know for how long we can stay though. With that goodwill looks to Aravil and Aragon.
I suggest we leave on the morrow. At first light.
Sound plan. Then he'll look at the two dwarves, and now's the right place and time for a joke in his mind. So he'll go, just have the two dwarves sleep with their backs against the door. No way anything in Bree could ever get in past those two.
Aye, it's a sound strategy it is. Nothing could break through me. Too strong. Not a couple of pints of ale, I'll pass out like a rock. Use me as a battering ram or a board, either way.
Trying to look as manly as he can, sipping a cup of tea. He goes, and a rock in front of the door is just what we need, it sounds like.
I think I might take my pack over there right now. That way, if something does break in, I can be the first to meet them with my axe.
That sounds very well and good, Arvel says, then looks to Aglaron. Of course, we have someone here who does not need much sleep. And if he can see and perhaps hear over your snores, I would ask him to perform a watch, and I will the other of half the night.
Aglaron simply nods.
Berender's patting the chair he's sitting in front of the fire. No one objects. I think I might just turn in here, in this chair. It kind of nestles back in it a little bit, wiggles. It seems comfortable enough. And God knows, heaven knows, I need warmth.
Arvel simply shrugs.
Hey, Elf.
Go ahead.
Hey, Elf, you can certainly keep your eyes out. But you were missing foxes and hares when we were out there on the road, trying to eat. I was starving.
Well, they could hear you coming from 3 miles away.
Ah. Not used to having to walk deeply along roads. God, I was wondering if I'd ever see the inside of a hearth again. Goodness.
Berender cuts his eyes to Aravel, just kind of like, I've put up with this for 3 days now.
Arvel just looks between the two. Well, I'm sure that they can get you a hearty stew here, dwarf. But unfortunately, after this night, you will need to do a little more skulking still.
Ah. Just kind of harumphs loudly and starts unpacking his bedroll near the door.
Aragorn finally speaks up and he looks over to Aragorn. Well, it does appear that we've settled our minds on this, and I agree. It is the path of wisdom. To leave when it is dark outside would be folly. He looks around at the dwarves and everybody. Eravul, son of Arafel, you are a hearty warrior indeed, if you've come this far. But no doubt the parade will greet us as we leave town.
Yes. There are quite a few of us in our party.
Pippin kind of comes to, and he's been listening, and Frodo as well. And Well then, I suppose it's down to the common room for a little bit of ale and supper. What we say? Aragorn looks at Eravul kind of with a sharp eye, expecting him to keep the hobbits in mind.
At that, Goody looks at Pippin. Well, Master Peregrine, tonight is not a night for us hobbits to be like hobbits. I think it's best we stay inside, away from prying eyes. And by the way, where did the other one go?
The other who?
Our friend? We seem to be missing a hobbit.
Missing a hobbit? Oh, there's me. There's Samwise here. There's Frodo over there by the fire, and there's Merry. What the? Merry? Merry? Aragorn. Be quiet, Pippin. Be shut. Dang it, no doubt he's stolen off. These hobbits are always skulking about, moving like shadows. I remember that old tale about your uncle, Frodo. The thief. Ah. And Aragorn starts kind of walking around the room, looking out the windows. Oh, where'd he go to?
He must have left when Barlaman left. Otherwise he would be here. Eglaron. You can see the best of any of us. Could you give us a bit of a look down the road and see if you see anything obvious tracks or anything?
Of course. The elf's already slipping out the door.
Alright. Get everybody sight on him. So he slips out the door. Give me one moment here. But, hang on one second. Technical difficulties. Oh, there we go. All right. It's raining out still. All right, you guys should all be able to see Aglaron down here, correct?
Yep.
And Aglaron, you step outside and grab a small lantern to help your eyes and step out into the rain. You walk outside, leaving the clutching wench. As you step off the doorstep, the mud squishes underneath your boots. Out onto the street, the light of the inn is kind of spilling out, and where that joyous amber light stops in the distance is inky blackness, even to your eyes.
Agron casts a look all around at the ground, particularly looking for small-sized footprints.
Why don't you give me a it's a hunting.
Do you have any traits that you can invoke?
Yeah.
Keen-eyed, I suppose.
There you go. Yep. That's pretty good. Yeah, so as you walk outside, you do see, the big heavy boot marks, and there are some wagon wheels that kind of go off into the distance, but you do see what looks like bare feet, large hobbit feet, that kind of exit the stoop and then kind of move around to the right. your right as you walk out of the building.
Very good.
You continue to follow this. As you step outside, you can see that kind of all the windows and doors of the surrounding areas are kind of shuttered as it gets later at night. And the tracks kind of continue to lead that way and kind of down an alley to your right. So down that alley, kind of at the end of it, there's a lightning crash, and it just kind of illumines a large area, and you see two shadowy figures kind of hunched over a form that looks like it's sleeping or falling on the ground. That they're trying to pick it up.
All right, Aglaron does not like that at all. Readies his bow, and we'll try and close with them to make positive identification.
As they see you coming that direction, they scurry off and scamper down another alleyway.
With or without the...
Oh, no, they leave them.
Then I will rush to his side.
You see an unconscious form there. It's a hobbit laying on his face.
And I will scoop up unconscious hobbit and promptly return with him to the clutching witch.
And maybe like 10 minutes later, you guys are waiting, and in comes from the rain Aglaron, kind of carrying Mary, still unconscious.
The door bangs open. Aglaron bursts in, the hobbit in his arms. Quickly! The little one's been injured! He makes his way to the table.
Mary just is ashen white and, oh, away, get him away. Pippin kind of jumps up, and Sam and, Mary, is he okay?
Arvel, with a lower voice, be quiet. And he steps over to look at Mary, though he is certainly far from an expert. He kind of gives Aragorn a look like, can you help me? As he is certainly not anyone that can do first aid or anything such as that. He is just kind of looking over Mary for anything obvious at this point.
There's nothing obvious wrong with him. You don't see any blood or wounds or head trauma or anything like that. And he's kind of just slowly coming to. It's like, oh my, oh me. He kind of sits up and says, oh, what happened? He looks around. Pippin, Frodo, Sam? Oh, I'm dreadfully sorry for stealing off like that into the night. I'll never do it again.
What happened out there?
Oh, I just wanted to go out for an evening stroll in the rain, alone, in the dark. I'm sorry. Oh, I am a brandy buck after all.
And what happened when you were out there?
I don't know. Walked out.
Quickly relates the information about the two shadowy figures that were going to try and carry him off.
Oh, I don't remember none of that, Mr. Elf.
Arvel gives Aragorn a look and then looks back to the hobbits and says, I need you to understand something, Master Hobbits. This is no game. There are things in the dark, and in the day for that matter, that wish your peril, and worse than peril. You need to cast away your childlike ways, or you will find yourself, and all of us, dead. This is meant to scare you because it is the truth. You should know. We all face many perils on this journey, and you are among them. Your safest place now is in Rivendell, and I will get you there, but any more actions like this, and I may not have the opportunity. He kind of glares at Mary.
Again, I'm sorry, sir. I was just, well, I felt like I've been drawn out there. I heard voices.
What sort of voices?
No, just over the hedge there, across the road. And the two shapes emerged from the hedge. They'd been talking. One was hissing, the other one, well, they walked into that alley. I guess that's when this good elf found me. And I just had to follow. Again, like I say, I'm a brandy buck. I got every bit of my body has a curious type of bone in it. And I just suddenly felt terrified. Started to tremble all over like I couldn't even control myself. And then just the most horrible fear came over me, and I was about ready just to bolt home and come in here. But, well, something came in behind me and I fell over. That's all I remember.
Arvel takes a deep breath and looks to Aragorn. They're here.
Can you give me a lore?
Aglaron makes eye contact with Eravul and just nods silently.
I'll give you a roll or a lore.
Does anybody have ring lore by any chance?
Ring lore?
Yeah. As a trait?
Oh, I don't think so.
I have lore of Arnor, but
I have...
Yeesh.
I have shadow lore, but not ring lore.
I see you.
mm-hmm.
I got a point to that. You look about ready to talk, like you kind of perhaps remember what's happening, and then Aragorn just looks at you and kind of gives you a nod, like he doesn't expect you to speak of such things in dark times. He says it was the Black Breath. The riders, or at least one of them, must be here. They will all know the news now of our whereabouts. I suppose they've visited that slant-eyed man on the way in as well. Something may happen tonight. We all must be wary.
Arvel considers, I wonder if we should not try to make our escape now. Split our group into at least two.
Aragorn looks at you. I see the method of your thinking, Eravul. There is some wisdom in it, but there is also danger. I will let you decide, but there would be two paths for the enemy to follow instead of one. I agree.
Goodwill kind of clears his throat. Aravul, our company has a hobbit as well. And there are 5 of us. Well, beg my pardon, there are 6 of us. If we include Wilbur. Maybe it is time we create our own distraction. I could be the hobbit carrying the ring, and by that I mean supposedly carrying the ring. It could draw the enemy away from Frodo and Aragorn.
Arvel takes a very large breath, and I had thought of that, but I am remiss to see it in action. He looks to Aragorn. I do not know everything about this ring, save that it is important. He looks to Aragorn. You are my king, the king of all Arnor, and if you tell me it is important enough to put my friend in danger, and he looks to Goodwill, I will see it through if he wishes to do it.
A shadow crosses over Aragorn's face. Master Hobbit, I wish this task would not fall to us, but this doom is ours to bear. A less important task there will never be. That's not
More important.
A more important
Oh
task.
no! Don't tell us
Yeah,
that.
just throw it away. A more important task will never fall upon your shoulders, Mr. Hobbit. And if you do this deed, I will make sure that songs will be sung about you, from the halls of Elrond to the Grey Havens, to the marble corridors of Gondor in the south. But know this, dwarf, elf, man of Gondor, to leave tonight is a task most perilous. There is no overstating your danger. If you take on this task, you do so freely. I will not command it. But you will have my undying gratitude.
Very well. I will see it done, but it is up to Goody. He will have my sword until we reach Rivendell or perish attempting it.
Well, Vidar says, kind of comes forth from his stupor. If 2 parties venturing into the dark are good, then 3 are better. I'll go into town. I heard the gruff voices of my kin, no doubt travelers from the Blue Mountain and another inn across the street. I'll take up with them and make a racket about a hobbit in our party. We will venture forth as well on unknown ways, for our dwarf feet are hardy, and the hills bear no burden for us. He kind of stands up and slings his axe across his back. Then I suppose I will see you all in Rivendell.
Arvel nods. Good luck, Vidar.
Aye, travel safe, kinsman. Don't go getting yourself killed now. You still owe me plenty of debts with all your money.
My skin is harder than stone, smoother than granite, polished granite. I'd ask you to come with me, Grimoire, but you need a dwarf and party to keep their heads straight.
Aye, and a good axe to keep the hobbit safe. And stand near Goodwill and pat him on the shoulder.
Well then, oi! It looks like I'll have time to show off some of this treasure. No doubt it will spark up a nice conversation across the street at the pony. And of course I have myself a couple pints. Run my mouth too much. That'll do the trick.
Tarry not too long, dwarf. If this one, and he indicates Grimmer, doesn't slow us down too much, we'll be waiting for you in Rivendell.
Aye. Good luck be with all of you. I mean that now.
Before Vida leaves, Goody goes up to him and gives him a hug. Be well, Vidar.
Oh,
And I will see you in Rivendell. Don't go do something foolish now.
I
We
have
have a
no
ways to
doubt
go
about
yet.
it. No doubt about that, Mr. Goodwill Tuk. I'm sure we'll share some tales over some smoke. Maybe back in the Hall of Fire like we did so many months ago.
Indeed we shall. And maybe on your travels you might find... By the time Vidar has walked off, and Goodwill shakes his head.
Here I go again on my own.
Will you throw up a, or I can just look it up. Will you, out of character, I have Lore of Arnor, so I kind of want to just look at the map, if that's okay.
Just a map around here. Okay, a big map. Or a little
like
map?
a big map to see our.
All the way to all the way to
yeah.
Rivendell?
Mm-hmm.
Just so happen to have that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Thank you. So let me look before I say anything. I want to look at something. So, Arvel gives a very concerned look towards Goody and then turns to Aragorn. Well, I do not know which way you wish to go, but we should go the opposite. Either south or north along the road.
Aragorn nods. He kind of searches his memory. I know ways that are not often tread. I'm no doubt you know them as well, Erebul. They are used by our kin, the Dunedain. They wind through the marshes and the hills to the north, keeping well out of sight of the road to Weathertop. From there, we plan to make our way towards Rivendell. And if you leave it once, well, we will take that risk and do the same.
I would delay a while after we leave. I plan to make enough commotion that it's obvious we are leaving. I'm thinking that we actually will take the road for a while, draw them out, act as if we're moving quickly, and then veer off the road south where you go north. Hopefully that will draw, I hope, one of the creatures with us. I hope there is only one. Perhaps Vidar will delay them, but I do not know that that is true. Hopefully the confusion will give us some time, regardless. He looks to Goody. Are you sure about this, Goody?
Goody takes a deep breath, looks at the door through which Vidar has left, looks at everyone in the room, looks outside of the window with the rain falling, thunder crashing. He remembers the Black Riders that they have met and what it means to do what he's proposing. And he sings a melancholic song. When we are up against trouble, we meet it squarely, face to face. We shall lift our chin and set our shoulders. We shall plant our feet and take a brace. When it's vain to try and dodge it, we do the best we can. We may fail, but we may also conquer. We should see it through. Black may be the clouds about us, and our future may seem grim, but we shall not let our nerve desert us. We shall be in a fighting trim, and if the worst were bound to happen, in spite of all that we can do, running from it will not save us. We shall see it through. Even hope may seem futile when trouble is beset around us. But we shall remember what we are facing is what other men have met as well. We may fail, but we shall fall still fighting. We shall never give up, whatever we do. Eyes in front, heads up high, to the end. We shall see through. With that, Goody takes a deep breath, looks at Aravu. Yes, Aravu. I am ready for this. If it means the safety of the Shire and these hobbits here, so be it.
And he turns and looks to Aglaron, Berendir, and Grimmer. Well, how about you three? This is no trivial matter. If you come with us, there is a good chance we all die.
And if we don't, there's still a good chance we all die. Agron sort of grimly chuckles at that. Of course I'm coming with you.
Aye. I've lived about 2 your lifetimes, I reckon. Don't know if I want to make it a third. I've seen quite a bit. So, if it does happen, well, I suppose I could do worse company.
So much hangs in the balance, it seems. To ask if we're willing to lay down our lives to save the world? Foolish question. Of course I'm going with you.
Well then. Arvel nods to the three at once. Looks down to his left hand, and there is a large ring on his middle finger. He reaches over with his other hand and with 2 fingers begins to pull it off, turning it, freeing it eventually. He flexes his hand and looks down at the naked finger, which all of you have never seen, the ring off his hand. And he has a simple cord necklace around his neck, and he detaches it and slips the ring through, walks over to Goody and affixes it to his neck. It may not be what the enemy seeks, but my father's ancestral ring. Hopefully it will be a ploy against the enemy. And it happens to not be gold, but it's like more of a tarnished, faded metal.
Goodwill looks at the ring, looks up at Aravu. It shall not leave my side, Aravu. Come what may, it shall not leave my side.
Why don't you add Ring of Barahir to your inventory there? Baller status right there.
Arvel nods to Aragorn. Then we leave you. I suggest waiting a while till we make our leave. And if possible, sneak out of the town instead of going out the gate, if possible. Certainly our enemy's eyes will be affixed there, which is what I'm counting on.
As the conversation is kind of winding down, Wilward kind of shakes from his stupor. He has heard everything and he says, do not leave without me, Aravu. I have met these foul beasts and I have survived by the skin of my teeth. But I shall do so again by your side. Lead the way, O Prince of Kadulan, and I shall follow.
Arvel considers for a moment. One second. And it would be good to have you by my side, Wilward, but perhaps Aragorn needs you more.
Your wish is my command, Aravu. So be it. My bow shall protect the hobbits that travel with Aragorn.
Considers for quite a while, wondering what to do. One second, guys.
I guess what everybody's wondering at this point is, what about Bill the Pony?
Oh, he's coming with.
He's coming with you? He's yours. Nice.
Goodwill looks at Aravu and thinks of the pony. Aravu, if we are to make a spectacle of our leaving, then a hobbit on a pony shall bring all sorts of attention.
Considers it, and well, I hate to put the beast in harm's way, and it is, well, not exactly in the best of shape. It will slow any of us down. He scratches his chin. Nah. I'll write a letter to the innkeeper and hopefully he will take good care of it. I'll leave some money for it and its care. He looks back to Wilward and he says, Zypher, let me just ask you out of character. Do you want Wilward to come with us so you can play him, or do you want him to go with Aragorn? Is there an out of character thing you would like? Because I don't care either way.
Yeah, out of character, I was hoping to bring in Wilward more.
Let's do it then.
Yeah.
Yep. So Arvel looks to Aragorn. Perhaps Aragorn would move quicker with just the hobbits with him, and quite frankly, we will be attempting to draw them out. The less men or members of their party, the better. So yes, Wilward, I will take your bow and sword once more.
Aragorn.
Aravu, you have but to ask my sword and my bow. But no need to jest about my speed. No, you're right. The more people in your group, the easier it is for us to be made out. Plus, I hear the wood elf is not such a good shot. And then he winks at Aglaron.
Well then, 2 arrows are better than 1.
And what about me, Arabil? My bow is just as good, so make that 3 arrows. Goodwill kind of has that cheer about himself again.
He smiles and then turns to Aragorn and extends his arm.
Aragorn takes it.
Yep.
He shakes it and then nods. We'll be off then. And he looks to the hobbits and says, "Listen to Aragorn, if you value your lives, and so that we do not make this sacrifice in vain."
Aragorn nods and Frodo steps forth. Eravul, all of you, me and my friends, we will never forget what you've done here. Well, if there are songs to be sung about Goodwill Tuk-Tuk, there will also be songs sung about Eravul, son of Arafel, and Aglaron, Blind Eye, and Berendir the Watchful, and Grimor the Proud. I am sure we'll meet again in Rivendell. Cozy up to a nice fire. I wonder if my uncle is still there. He has no doubt gone on to the Lonely Mountain. I always wanted to see it again. He kind of stands up. Well, Strider, I suppose we should be setting out in the morning. I am a hobbit, after all, and if I had planned on going in the morning, I expect a hearty breakfast and a good night's sleep. Aragorn just kind of cocks his eyes to Frodo and he says, "Indeed, get a good night's sleep tonight. It's the last you'll have for at least a fortnight. Good luck, Eravul. Blessings be with you."
And to you.
All right, so for Goody's poem he sung, I want all the PCs to give themselves 1 hope back. And then also, Goodwill, I want you to make a song roll, and if you get a great success or extraordinary success, everybody will get an extra hope back.
Damn! Awesome. 14 PM?
Yep, 14.
Nice.
Oh yes!
It's just a success, though.
But it's a golf.
I'll be happy. Okay, I'll be nice. All right, everybody gets an extra hope.
We'll need it, probably.
All right,
I get,
so
I get one as well?
Yeah, everybody.
Yes. For the all.
Okay, kind of describe to me kind of like how you're setting off and that sort of thing. And I'm going to probably have you guys make a roll here in a second and see.
Yeah. Arvel immediately opens the door and steps through and puts his hand on Goody's shoulder and kind of leads him out with him. "Stay close to me, Goodwill," he says. And looks to Aglaron. "Keep a watchful eye." And then he immediately starts walking. One quick aside, I did write a note before I left to Barlaman, saying something along the lines of, "I want you to treat this pony well." And he basically leaves a couple silver coins, enough to feed the pony for a considerable amount of time. "Treat it well, it has had a life of hardship," or something like that. But afterwards, he leads the group out into the night and begins to march straight for the gate, having Goodwill by his side, and clear as day that there's a hobbit with him, and a large group of people making their way towards the door. And he puts a pretty good pace as if they're trying to get away from something or move quickly.
Goody follows Aglaron's lead, not Aravil's lead. Just as they're leaving, hearing Frodo's comment about a hearty breakfast, even though everybody, including Goody, has had their fill, Aravil would definitely hear a growl from Goody's stomach thinking about a hearty breakfast the next day. Just as he's about to cross the threshold of this room on the outside, there's a slight hesitation in Goody's mind, but he takes a deep breath and wills himself to cross that threshold, and as soon as he crosses it, he kind of regains his posture, stands up straight. He drops the hood of his traveling cloak back, lets the rain soak his hair, makes it very clear that he is a hobbit by face. And he walks beside Aravil, keeping up pace.
As you step out, go ahead.
To the other side of Goody is Aglaron, about an arm's distance away.
And as you step out into the night, you cross that threshold out of the common room of the Clutching Wench. You've taken your first step on a much larger journey. The weight of it seems to be in your spine and in your body, and you just realize that now you're in the wild. The darkness can be held at bay, but only with great effort. So, as you start off on your journey, first of all, I would like everybody just to roll a feat die. There should be a token for it. Don't roll an eye. Oh.
There it is.
Bring on the spiders.
Bree spiders.
They're in the attic.
It's like a shitty RPG quest.
Yeah.
The giant spiders out of my attic. 100 gold.
Bad men. So as you kind of walk out of the inn, you see from down the alleyway several kind of shapes emerge. And they kind of look at you and they say, "Hey there! Why are you coming out into the rain so late?" And you can see that all eyes are clearly on Goodwill.
Why are you in the rain so late yourself? Perhaps it's you needing a bath.
Just out here to get some fresh air. Lots of smoke inside, can hardly breathe. Hey, halfling! Won't you come over here? I hear rubbing the halfling's head is good luck.
All the
You gotta have hands to rub a head. Step forward and brandish his axe. Clear the road or else I'll clear your guts.
Oh, tall talk from such a short dwarf.
And all the men now, you can see they kind of pull their cloaks back and they're wearing swords.
Honestly now, give up the halfling. Send him over here. He's our business, not yours.
Arvel will charge them. He draws his sword and immediately rushes them.
Yeah, Berender's looking for being flanked about the time Aravel starts to charge.
And you don't see anything from either side, and all these men are just kind of drawing their swords and getting ready to kind of take you guys on.
Wilward will turn to Goodwill.
Still on my side, Hobbit. All right.
Take a step back.
First combat of book 3.
All right.
Arson, Arson, Arson.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully I've already got those out of the way. I've already rolled 2.
You guys, oh, I forgot to raise your threshold. I'll do that later. If you guys remember this, first step is going to be roll your battle die to see how many bonus dice you get. This combat's not going to be Erevel said he's charging. Willward, you'll be able to have a volley, but it's kind of really the first round of combat. So.
Okay.
Oh. Nice.
Grimoire,
Nice,
give yourself 3 bonus die, and I think there's still a macro. It says bonus dice.
is.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Erevel, you get 2 bonus die.
Does that keep track of them, or is that just when you want to spend?
It puts
It just puts a
marker on
little
the
icon
token.
there.
If you see, yeah.
Oh,
Hey, how do I roll battle on Wilward, who's right now an NPC?
Everything should be set up for him.
Just do a skill roll.
Ah, see.
Agaron, you get you didn't actually pass it, so
Right. Wilward
No.
has no battle. Okay, fine.
he might. I told you he wasn't set up, man. We're
No,
chatting
that's fine.
today.
No, I thought NPCs have battle. It's cool. It's cool.
You're like, okay, don't. I was like, I don't have much time
so
today.
no enemies must have battle either. No.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are first up. Remember to set your stance, and then let's get it on.
There is only ever one choice.
All right.
Okay. And Grimmer, I'm pairing that guy up with you. Barondir, what are you doing? Whoop. Open. Aglaron's rearward. Goodwill.
Rearward. Wilward, rearward.
And these other ones are going to be...
Okay, fine. I guess... Yeah, you won't have Wilward's token show up as rearward, but he's rearward.
Here, let me try it now. See it works now. His stuff just must not be... He's not set up as a PC, probably.
That's fine.
Oh, there
Just
you go.
remember his Wilward. Yeah, there we go.
There. And where's the other one go? Airbull. All right, let's say Airbull, you can go first.
Arvel charges forward with his blade in hand, it catching the light of the torch on the outside of the tavern, and he brings it down against the first man before him, and he cries, "For Cardalon! For Cardalon in the north!" And I'm using Royalty Revealed. And I'll attack first and then do my intimidation second.
Ooh. 19, that's just a regular success. You have 2 damage, 9.
9 damage. And then I'll do Intimidate. Intimidate. What skill's Intimidate again?
Oh,
I don't think it's just all. I think it's battle. It's battle. That's right.
Mm-hmm. I love the music that happens when Paravil's going.
It's TN10, I think. I say.
Yeah, it is. It's not hard.
So they lose one hate for each success, basically each level of success. So they would all lose one hate.
Okay,
And I'm done.
got it. Grimoire.
Oh, it's time to heft this axe and go to work.
You have 3 bonus die.
Yeah, I'll blow one on it. Oh,
The thwack.
with a eye.
It's a good thing you didn't
You
use
miss.
it. Oh, you did use it.
I did use it, yeah. I mean, I guess I roll it. What is it, D6?
There should be one that says roll extra dice at the top.
Bo made you roll that.
Definitely.
There you go. So that's a fail. The next attack against you is going to be a called shot. All right. Willward, Goodwill, and Aglaron.
No, Barondeer.
Oh, Barondeer, sorry.
No reason to inspire, but as he draws his sword, from the darkness I walk into the light. From the day I walk into the night. From the shadows I will appear. Was a message for all to hear. For those of you weak in heart, I will be strong. To the defenders of faith, I will belong. We'll step towards and attack. Is it not working?
Try it again.
Oh, duh. My bad. I was targeting the assassin and trying to use his.
There you go. It's a great success. So,
So, what, 12 damage?
12. So you cut him bad. He spins off into the night, bleeding. Kind of goes down. He's down on a knee. Very badly wounded at this point. Not dead, though. Just kind of out of it. All right, the other guys.
Wilbur is going to shoot his bow at the assassin on Aravul's left. He doesn't have the thing. I'm just going to roll it from the sheet.
You should have a bow.
No, it's not on the
Token.
macro.
Oh, for Willward or Goodwill?
Yeah, for Wilbur. So
Oh, okay,
the
yeah,
first
you're right.
one was for Wilbur. That was on this guy. So since I couldn't click him, you'll have to just calculate that for now.
What's your damage on that?
Damage on that is 5.
All right, he's dead.
Ooh.
What's that look like?
So Wilbur, seeing Aravul, his Prince of Cardolan, rushing headlong into rogue assassins, he pulls Goodwill back to his side, makes sure that he's protecting Goodwill, pulls the bow out, takes aim, gives a sidelong glance to Aglaron, smiles and lets go of the arrow at the assassin.
So you bam, hits him. Goes down in the mud, an arrow sprouting from his eye.
And then he quickly reloads and he says, Aglaron, that's one. Goodwill is going to see Aravul has charged ahead. He's going to pull his bow out and shoot at the other assassin on him.
Miss. Covering fire.
Hey, wait, 1 minute. Hold on. I
Go to
think
the north downs.
I can roll my feet die again.
Oh, yep, you can.
When you make a range attack, you can roll the feet die twice and keep the best result. So, 9.
14 plus the 3 from Bow of Downs?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, plus
16. No, you missed.
16.
Yeah, but you could hope it if you wanted. But I mean, you're not going to do significant damage. Only 5.
Yeah. I'm not sure if 16 hits, but that's
No,
the
it
hit.
doesn't.
No.
No.
18.
18. Eesh.
All right.
All right. Aglaron will also fire at the remaining roguish assassin engaged with Aravule.
It's unbelievable.
The familiar sight.
It's really incredible.
I've missed this. All puns intended.
He's rolling 4d6s.
I know. It doesn't make any sense.
One
The rain.
day, the keen-eyed elven archer will hit.
Okay. So
Amazing.
the assassin that's near Aravul, just like an arrow flies over his right shoulder, then his left, and says,
Ah, who are you traveling with? Blind men?
and he just goes towards Aravul and rears back and attacks him.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Uh-oh.
That's 5
10.
plus. That's 8.
Oh, 8. Yeah.
8. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8 damage and no edge. So he hits you.
Mm-hmm.
The one up on Grimoire. Now this is a called shot. That's a miss.
No edge.
Actually, that is. That's a hit.
It's a hit, but
it has
Not
It
edge.
has-
Also, it's okay.
great success. So that is an automatic. You have to make a saving throw for that one. So you're going to take 8 damage, and then make a protection against 14, or you're wounded. Of course,
Wow.
he's in such heavy armor, man. So he hits you, but then he kind of spins around for another blow and just kind of glances off of your armor. And the one up on
Using butter knives against me.
Barondir presses his luck as well. It's 22. That's a regular success, so 5 damage on Barondir.
Reduced by 5 because of his ability.
Oh,
If it's a normal
dollar.
success
It
that
is
hits
normal
him,
success.
it reduces by the shields and commerce value, which is
So
5.
RP wise, it bounces off his shield. What's that look?
Yeah. Also, is he an evil man?
Yes, he is.
He takes
Actually,
3
it comes
damage
from a
my
folder.
weapon.
A folder of NPCs called Evil Men, Bad Men.
Okay. Yeah. He takes 3 damage from my weapon of
3
great
damage?
lineage. Yeah.
Got it.
So basically, yeah, he tries to stab him, but he brings a big wall shield down, and then he actually pushes him back. And when he does, he swings the sword out and manages to nick him as he pushes him back. You'll have to do better than that.
All right, you guys are back up, Aravul.
I'm gonna keep the same stance. I don't know about everybody else, but
Same.
Yeah, I'm keeping it.
I'm
Same.
gonna use 2 battle die.
All dirty.
Jeez.
Oh!
Damn.
My goodness.
Shot. It's a miss. Rain's getting in your eyes.
Yeah, he just too impatient and maybe getting a little emotional, and he just swings and blade just totally whiffs and strikes the ground
Sticks in the
instead.
mud.
Yeah.
All right, Grimmer.
Alright, I'm gonna blow my whole load of battle dice on this one. We're gonna go all in. And here's my 2 extra.
Edge.
Oh, and I edged him,
yes.
so he's got to roll for damage or injury.
Yeah, so how much damage? It says it's 9 damage initially.
Yeah, it's just 9. I didn't get any other successes. But he also has to
9
roll for
damage and
injury.
7 character damage.
Against 20?
Yeah.
That's no good for this guy.
Oh, see you. Good night.
He's wounded.
Aren't NPCs that are wounded killed?
Oh, yeah, he is, because he doesn't have that. You're right. I'm used to those big great orcs.
Yeah.
All right, cool. He's gone.
Takes his axe and just kind of parries one of the strikes coming in from the sword and lops off his arms at the elbows, boots him back, making good on his promise that he would need hands to rub a hobbit head.
Barondir.
Yeah, he will attack the assassin on him and use his ability to do the free action to inspire. Basically, as he pushes the assassin away with his shield and nicks him in the process, he's just like, "You'll have to do better than that. This bravery calls my name. In the sound of the wind in the night, my sword will taste victory, and I will fight. Yes, I will fight. In the dawn of battle, I shall fight. Fight! Fight!
I love Barondir.
I'll spend my battle die on the Inspire attempt, but I will do my longsword.
It's a miss, but then you,
Yeah, I was debating spending the hope, but I don't think 5 damage is gonna hurt him. Now, I gotta do my Inspire. Gotta bear with me, I'm slow because my hand.
Oh, I forgot. Barondir hurt his hand while he was out scouting.
My knee, my hand!
It's his
He's got
RA.
his shield strapped. He's got the shield strapped to the bad hand right now.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Barondir bad touch.
I think that's only what?
2? Is it 2?
He's gonna use a bonus die on it too, he said, right?
The bonus die didn't roll.
The
The hotkey for the bonus die.
roll extra dice, I think, is the macro for it. Next to, should be up there.
Oh, roll extra dice.
Yep.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect.
So take more.
That's, what, 3? Everybody gets 3 back?
Yeah, 3.
Nice.
I'll take it.
Good job, boys. All right. Rearward troops, fire!
Please kill this guy.
Yep. Wilbur attacks.
Don't worry, I've got you next round if they don't.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get hit in the meantime.
You'll be fine.
Five damage on that guy.
Yes.
Famous last words.
So he's hit. Boom. Goodwill.
Goodwill, gonna do the same.
Poor Goodwill.
Wait, let's roll that feat die
Yeah,
again.
oh, you might get...
Yeesh.
Oh, man.
No.
14. Yeah, still miss.
14 plus...
3.
No, 11
You're
plus
just
14.
short.
Aglaron, this is your turn to shine.
There you go. There you go.
Hey-oh!
12.
That kills him. How's your first kill look?
First kill. First kill in
The whole campaign.
20 sessions.
No,
He spends the next 3 rounds wiping the tears from his eyes.
I'm glad it's raining.
How's it look, Rob?
Agron has no idea. He's too surprised.
Wilbur from the side kind of puts his bow down a bit and turns his head fully and kind of stares at Aglaron.
It's the only archer I know that uses spray and pray method.
So the assassin that's left kind of looks at Barondir and is like, starts trying to leave. He's going to roll he's going to roll his movement. It's a 13, and it's going to be opposed if you guys want to catch him.
Oh, yeah!
Otherwise, he's trying to get away.
I think Arvul would suggest that they let him go.
He's running.
I'm in a
Okay,
rage.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm going for it. My movement?
Well, with NPC it's movement, but yours is going to be athletics.
Athletics?
Yeah.
Oh, I might have garbage athletics anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
Slow with all that armor on.
I think Arvul is kind of in the same situation. He probably his first instinct is to grab him, so he's actually going to run after him too. Jesus, Pete.
Hey, Chris.
God.
Arvul trips on one of the bodies and falls into the mud.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, okay.
My knee!
Hey, Agleron!
Well, he can run, he just can't shoot.
And he runs into the night and disappears.
Agleron caught him,
Back
didn't he? 15 versus
Yeah, okay, yeah. Agron did catch him. Let's say it's this guy. There you go. What's up?
Armor will help,
What?
Arvul will help.
Let me be! Let me go! I just wanted some coin, that was all.
Agleron has him by the scruff.
Arvul's kind of like shaking his bruised arm, and he kind of reaches and grabs the rogue by the nape of his neck and kind of flings him, turning him towards him. Who hired you?
Oh, it just be Bill Fernie and that squint-eyed man that came up from the south. Offered us all a little bit of coin, some ale. I promise you, mister. Didn't mean no harm, just to try to scare you a little bit.
You can tell that he's lying.
Oh yeah,
They're supposed to
clearly.
kill you.
Yeah. Arvul just gnashes his teeth and kind of steps away, and hand kind of gripping his sword. And, I think you should go.
Oh, thank you, kind mister. I'll never forget this. Thank you for letting me escape with my life. It didn't turn out.
Hold on a minute!
I got a dwarf!
What's that on your hand there? Pointing at his hand.
What, my hand? What do you mean, Master Dwarf?
And he'll fake like he's about to pick the axe up and cut it off. Say, ah! Get on out of here! Go! Run, manling!
Pulls the hand back like a frightened turtle, and then turns tail, and he runs. He falls down in the muck, stands back up, looks over his right shoulder, runs off into the dark, spraying mud.
Arvul kind of,
Spit on the ground.
yeah, he looks at everyone. Good. Let him tell his story. Let's get going.
Yeah, I sort of takes his place, looking over the men. Though it pains me to say it, those men were skilled for manlings. Dark days when such individuals are willing to help the darkness.
Yes. Undoubtedly, they don't know who they work for. Not really. Come, let's get out of here. And he, looks to Willward and watch Goodwill. And
Yes, my liege. I shall.
he immediately,
He shall not leave my side.
yeah, he nods and he immediately starts kind of almost jogging.
All right. Actually, let's do this one. It'll be easier. All right, so you're in Bree. Where do you want to go? Which way do you want to exit?
Arvel will take them along the road for at least until daybreak. Try to really, at least in here, this hex. So he'll take them on the road, and then we'll see if we can go. The general idea is to go south eventually. So something like this. You know, something like that. But
Okay.
at least in Arvel's mind, he's going to try to draw them out by being on the road, so I might do something like this, but if that makes sense. It depends on how... One hex is how long?
I think it's 10 miles. If you guys kind of give me the direction you want to go, I'll pull up that website and do some calculations for you.
I think at first we definitely want to go on the road. That was what I told Aragorn, so probably something like, and then kind of start like following, like kind of like that.
Pick a road, then kind of go south of it.
Yeah. And we can go on the south downs if it's easier terrain to go this way instead.
Yeah, you can just stay on just that edge of it. All right, so the first leg of your journey, I'll calculate to right here.
Okay.
Freehand, red, large. So, like this, and then down here, 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 here. Look about right?
Yep, that looks perfect.
All right, let me pop over to my map here. For all the folks out home, there's all one of you watching. There's a website, tour-journey.herokuapp.com that does all the math for you for this. It's really nice. You just put the date. So you guys are leaving on April 17th. And here we go. Gonna make some notes. All right, guys. For this whole journey, I want you guys to make your lore checks to see how many bonus dice you get.
Say that again.
Lore.
Lore for bonus die.
Where are we? This isn't Gondor.
Are we in Harad? It's very sandy.
Erebor gets 2. Aglaron gets 1.
Nice.
Goody gets 1.
You guys keep rolling dubbed off, so I'll keep rolling the eyes, I guess.
Is that everybody?
Grammar needs to roll. Goes.
Okay.
He stepped at the button.
He stepped out.
We're all rolling for lore.
Mhm.
There we are.
There you go. You get 1 bonus die for the journey to Rivendell. Cool. All right, so you guys head out of Bree under the cover of night. The storm lets up just about as the sun rises in the east. You see no other sign of the men that tried to kidnap Goodwill from you. And the sun rises in the east, and you spend your first day journeying along the road. Every once in a while, you go a little bit north of the road to camp and rest for a bit. You cross some marshlands and head into a thicket of woods known as the Chetwood, and then eventually you exit that. On the third day, you leave the road and start the journey to the south. Kind of crossing that country, you see rolling hills that are dotted with brown copses of trees that even in the spring seem like they're very hardy and starved for water. You're off of the road now, and so the going is tougher. From what you've seen, there's no evidence of black riders, at least not yet. So this first leg of the journey is going to require one travel roll at TN 16.
This is the entire journey that we mapped out, or?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so the bonus die is for the entire trip to Rivendell?
That's for the entire thing. Yeah, I'm gonna break it up into a couple legs, just for RP purposes.
Travel. I gotta remember what my travel is. What was the TN on that travel roll?
16.
16.
Alright, I'll just roll it.
Willward.
Hey, Goody, like stuff for Willward, just don't worry about it. All right, does anybody take fatigue?
I did not.
Getting Goody.
Good. I failed. Goody failed for Goody.
Goody, okay, let me look. Man, it's been a while. Travel.
Spring, so it's whatever his
is,
spring gear is, right?
Yeah, I am looking here. Travel. Thought I had cheat sheets for that, but I might not.
I think it's just whatever his spring gear is, right? Which should be in his inventory.
But is that even on your sheet?
I mean, mine is.
Yeah, it's 2 points of encumbrance for spring summer gear.
Yep. All right, so you take 2 endurance loss then.
Okay. 2 endurance loss, not 2
Or
travel
fatigue. I mean, travel fatigue.
And we don't get endurance back, right, after we're injured? It just sticks with you until you really rest. That's correct? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Barondur just uses Inspire on the entire trip.
Yeah.
Singing the whole time.
These greaves were made for walk. That's what we're gonna do. One day these greaves will walk all over you.
So, as you kind of leave the road on that night as you're camping, you kind of see way off in the distance, like flashes of light, like lightning leaping from hills to hills. And the weather outside is very clear, though.
Which direction? Path ahead or from where we came?
It's kind of north and east of you, because you're south of the road now. So.
Nor'easter.
Erebul would know that it's kind of in the direction of Weathertop.
Yeah, we're avoiding where Aragorn said he was going.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless. Arvel tells everybody as they're traveling just to level set. If we don't draw them out, we might have to slow down. Or return to the road. He's kind of wondering if they didn't take the bait at this point. He's kind of deciding if he would do that or just push on ahead, assuming that it's kind of everybody for themselves at this point.
Our view, we should be patient. I think the riders will catch on our scent, and before long, we won't have time to worry about anything else.
It is true. We must not act as though we are trying to draw them out. No one in their right mind would go back to the road, so we continue on and hope the ploy has worked.
The one who escaped after the fight, I'm sure word will carry through. He definitely saw me, and we did fight to protect me.
Yes,
That word is going to get through.
and dead men on the street of Bree will be quite the scandal, no doubt.
Yes. It will work.
Perhaps. He just kind of sits there, just looking around. I'm sure they don't have a fire.
Oh, yeah. The, slides are obviously just for effect. And, in the morning you can see that you're kind of south of Weathertop at this point. And so I'm going to bring you back to another slide so you can continue to kind of plan a little bit. So that's where you're at right now. Which direction do you want to kind of continue?
Okay, so where the ring is.
Yeah, center everybody there. If you narratively just kind of tell me.
I'm just thinking, what would I do?
Parallel to the road would make sense, and then maybe get back on the road once you hit the hills. That last leg to the last bridge.
Yeah, I'm thinking the one idea I have is to kind of do this to hopefully put as much distance between whoever's following us and Aragorn. Or we could do... Right, we could just do... more or less that. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I was thinking something along those lines, but on the road for a bit, then off. On the road, then off. So that we, make it look like we get on the road when things are going tough and we get off it. Just in case they don't end up following us.
We could even do that if we're really just trying to get there.
That'd be a bold strategy to take that one.
Well, if we could know that it was working, then either the green or that last one would be great, because that pulls them the farthest away from the real target. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
Who
know.
knows, right?
If
if
it's working.
Yeah,
So we can travel on the green for now, and I mean, at that point, if we really wanted to say fuck it and diverge, screw it and diverge, trying to keep it PG for Tor, screw it and diverge, then we can take the purple path through the angle, and really just have no travel fatigue left as we pass out walking to Rivendell. But no, I think we could go to. I think the green route's probably in my opinion, the best one, because as Aglaron said, it draws them away.
I think appearing at the last bridge is a good thing too, because there was an inn right there.
Mm-hmm.
Good way to hear word, because if we're traveling slower than Aragorn and in his secret ways that he said, he might have already passed through.
I don't think he would go to the inn though. So you're thinking we should just cut straight across, like this one, or do you think we should be doing like that?
I kind of agree with you and Zypher,
I
because
know.
going off and on the road kind of seems erratic, and that's kind of what we need, because I think Zypher's wanting to do on the road is like, if in the event that Aragorn picks up our trails, he'll go, aha, look, they were on the road, then they traveled off.
Yeah. Just to make sure that we keep the trail fresh.
I just want to do something that seems like it would make sense for people trying to run away, right?
Yes, but the thing is, with hobbits in tow, you cannot make pace. That's the assumption. If you kind of so, yeah, just off the road, and if you feel after the next travel check, if you look around and feel we're not being hunted, then we will get on the road again.
If you go out there, you might be able to use the hills to our advantage and try to survey the path behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a really good point, actually. So, like...
All right, cool.
Let me make sure we're all thinking, because so basically...
And you want to stay out of the red until you get up to the road up there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then we can plan right around here to try to look back over, see what we see from these hills. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we can do like something like this if we want to, or depending on what's going on, we can just...
Yeah, let's get there, because if any more bad travel rolls happen, we might just have to, like Ghost said, just get on the road and run till the last bench.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I plotted it out. You're going to... It's going to be 2 travel checks at 16.
To get to the hill?
One to get to the hill.
Oh, 1 to the hill? Okay.
1 to the hill. Let me just move you here.
2 to last bridge. Or 1 to last bridge as well, I mean.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What TN are we talking? Is it still 16 or...
16.
Yeah. Yeah, we off-road. Remember, y'all have bonus dice if y'all want to use them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to... I'm going to use...
Who needs it?
2 fatigue. That's bad for me. I'm going to go ahead and use a hope.
Oh!
I rolled great.
That should do it.
I rolled a great success. I'm gonna invoke my over dangerous
It's
leagues.
weird because you want to get there. You know, it's strange. It's kind of cool though.
I got a great success on my fatigue check. I'm gonna invoke my over dangerous leagues ability. I want to spend a hope point to automatically succeed on the next one, the next fatigue test.
Perfect.
There we go.
Oh!
So, roleplay wise, for my eye, as they're traveling, Goody looks at Araviul and looks behind towards Bree and the horizon, and he worries that Araviul's concern might come true, that the bait might not set. He makes sure that he's walking on parts that are a little more squishy, little more soft, and leaves very clear hobbit prints. Hopefully you can use the eye advantage.
Yep. So as the days wear on, you travel 2 to 3 more days and go through this harsh country, and eventually you kind of come to and from the road. And how many eyes did you guys roll?
2.
You could come up on a large hill, and Eravul and Barondir maybe, and maybe Aglaron are kind of crawling up towards the top of the crest of the hill on their bellies so they don't leave a silhouette against the sky. And as the sun starts to set, you see kind of coming down the road from the west, two little specks, two dark specks that seem to be on horses, and they trot their horses for a bit and they leave the road. They trot their horses for a bit and they leave the road.
Marvel turns to Woolward and Aglaron. I think we have them. Now it is us to get to Rivendell. I think we have the honey. But we must not be caught now. And he'll return to the rest of them, and I think we have them. I think they're on us. 2 riders. They don't seem like they want to be on the road overly much. So now we fly. We must get to Rivendell before they catch us.
Goodwill looks at Aravul. He inwardly curses himself for his brave but stupid act of making sure that there are hobbit prints. Two riders. I was hoping for one. Yes, time to fly.
Takes a very deep breath. 2 is good. It means likely that none have gone for their real prey. If they come upon us, Willward, you must get Goody to Rivendell. And he looks at Goody and then back to Willward. And this is for this reason. Of course, I want to see Goody's safe, but if they catch Goody, it will not take long for them to realize it is a diversion, and then they will peel off their search. We must keep up the ruse as long as we can.
1 minute. Goody looks at Aravul. Brave deeds have their price. It was a price I may not have been ready to pay just yet. Leaving more friends behind. I know it's for a good cause, Aravul. What is that? Just wisdom again?
Yes.
Bo?
Yes.
Alright, here goes. Okay. But your words ring true. I shall journey on if they're upon us, though my heart's not in it. Cannot leave more friends behind.
He kind of looks at you and says, "Oh, trust me, Goody. It is not that I wish to face down these beasts again. But we must do what we can. For in the days to come, if we are not successful and the shadow rises and covers all of this Middle-earth, the Shire will no longer be. Cardalong will no longer be. Gondor will no longer be. The Iron Hills would no longer be. And Mirkwood will no longer be. It will only be dark. A terror and horror, filled with orc and other filth. And so if I must sit down my life here, I will do it. But don't mistake that for a want, a desire for it, I would have died for Fornos to retake it. And that is nothing compared to this.
With those words, you can see Goody's jaw kind of set when he hears the Shire falling under shadow, Cardolan falling under shadow. As always, my prince, your words ring true. I will make my way to Rivendell if it's the last thing I do. Wilward looks at Goody and looks at Aravule. Fear not, my liege. He will make it to Rivendell. At whatever cost. It shall be done.
And then he looks between everyone. Then let us put some land in between us and our pursuers.
Aye, if we don't away, none of us shall make it to Rivendell.
Aye. Now we fight for ourselves. Come. Let us go.
Beards and belts. He's gonna make sure his beard is tucked in so it doesn't chafe.
When the war has been won and our might will begin, what waits has not yet been revealed. What was won, what was lost? Will our deeds be remembered? Are they written on stone or in sand? We remember the sea where our ships broke the waves. We remember our brothers in arms. Berendir will turn and start trekking down the hill as quick as he can.
Okay. Excellent RP. So, which way are you heading now? Towards the last bridge and making a run for it?
You know, I
Yes.
they have
No?
horses. So if we can use the terrain to our advantage, maybe that would help. I'm just thinking out loud here, not making a decision or anything.
So where are we right now? Can you put the ring there?
Okay.
There.
So if we go through the hills completely, and then make it to the last bridge like that, that should give us the terrain advantage.
Unless they're smart and just in here and wait.
Haul ass to the bridge looking for us.
Right.
So I think if we don't try to just haul across as fast as we can, we don't go that way.
That's a river, right? Some river.
Yep, and it's the springtime.
Yep. Which means it is quick.
Spring rains, probably.
I mean, if we decide to not go on the river, then we don't go to the road. Or I'm sorry, if we determine not to go to the road, I don't think we ever go to the road. We do something. We would have to do something like.
Yeah, but how do we cross that river though?
Very, very carefully. I don't know. We'd have to find a place where we could ford somewhere, or swim it.
All right. So which means that
Find
currently
a big
that would
log,
be our
everybody
weakest
hang on
point.
to it, swim across.
What do you say, Agdaron?
No, find a big log and everybody hang on to the log and swim across.
I'll hang on to Grimo's beard.
It's tucked in his belt. You aren't going anywhere.
Yep.
Oh, there's plenty to grab.
I don't know.
All
yeah,
right,
I think that's our two options. We hustle towards
I
it,
think
or
like-
we.
I'm afraid they ride us down on the road.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have to be. You don't have to RP like being on the road.
Huh?
I mean, the squares are miles across. Just because you're on that square doesn't mean you're on the actual road.
Yeah, I understand, but
Okay, let's rephrase it. How the bridge is not some massive bridge, right? It's a choke point.
It is.
Okay, so I think while the river might be our weakest point, it also makes taking horses across it just as hard.
Why don't we just cross the bridge? And how big is the bridge? Why don't we just cut it down? Wouldn't be perhaps the greatest thing ever, but
how far away were they, Bo?
Like they're probably like a mile away because you're up on that, up on the hill.
So they're gonna easily be able to outpace us to the bridge. If I was them, I would just head to the bridge and wait, or they split up.
Or split up. One of them dog us, and the other one head to the bridge.
I think fording the river is going to give us some. It's a balanced advantage, disadvantage.
time to fjord.
Time to fjord.
All a fjord.
Do we have rules on fjording?
Nope.
Backstroke.
Don't drown. There's your rule.
Are there some rollable tables for this, man?
It will be very, very hard. I'll just say that. But that's what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I think if we go to the bridge, we have an encounter with them for sure. That's my thought.
We could travel into the hills, try our best to mask our pathing, and then sneak down and haul ass.
I don't trust us to lose ring raids.
We could split up.
No, man, no. That's the last thing we want to do. Okay, it's this. If I don't know. I think we can still go the bridge, and if we see something is waiting for us there, we can just go south and try and fjord the river.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Can we get a good view of the bridge from these mountains?
From the nearby hills, yes.
Yeah, maybe we should just do that for now and see if we can see the bridge from there. So something like let me just go here and then see what we can see.
Okay.
And then if we need to, we'll go down and across or something like that. And if we think we have a clear path, one of us will go out and scout it out and see if we lure him out. And then that one person will get screwed, but everybody else can do this if they need to. And I would do that. I would be the person that would go forward. Because at least my sword can hurt them, at the very least.
I think we need to consider that they're a mile behind us and we're 50 miles from the bridge. They are going to overtake us.
Maybe. That's why we should make the terrain very hard for them on horse by staying in the hills.
And you can do that as a ranger, and I mean, in the books, there was a cat and mouse game the whole way.
Right.
I'm sure if they're going to stay on horse, one of them's going to go like that probably, or maybe both of them, and the other one's probably just going to follow us as best they can. That's my guess, right?
If I were them, that would be my play. But
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's go to the hills. Take a quick look at the bridge. Even then we won't know till we get to the bridge. We'll just have to do a coin toss, either fjord or bridge it.
Yeah, and we might be forced to just go like that too, right? And then try to lose them in these hills. We'll have to see, but it depends if they catch wind of us. If they don't, we
Right.
might be lucky and be able to just kind of like go down and find the best spot and then just go over when we can. And then maybe the best move is to come over here, try to get a boat and then go up a river, but that is difficult. That's to be TBD, right? So
Yeah.
but we know what we're doing now. We're going to go this hill and see what we can see from a vantage point. And at this point, we try to stay hidden.
All right, cool. All right, so you guys come down from the hill. You can no longer see the Black Riders, and you continue your journey through the hills, being careful to stay out of sight, making your way slowly but surely towards the River Horwell and the last bridge. And it's a day's journey, and travel checks at 16. And that will put you to April 24th.
I'm going to use a bonus die on this one.
I pass mine automatically.
Yep, I'm gonna use bonus die.
I'll use the bonus.
Must be something in the air here. Might bugged me in days.
Oh, well, I said I
Ooh.
would.
Oh my god, I still failed. Are you kidding me?
Ooh, Tengwar!
Alright.
You guys are getting some
Let me
fatigue.
see here, because I'm at 12. I need to get to 16. What does travel... What is that one?
16.
No, I mean, what is it based off of, attribute-wise?
Heart.
Oh, I will use another hope. I cannot get fatigued, because I'm already hurt.
So this a hope lets you reroll, or what is that?
Oh, you add your heart attribute to your...
Oh, I eyed anyway. So
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
travel is favored for me anyway, so I add 9 to my roll.
So how much for a failure bow on an eye?
That's 2, but other stuff happens.
Great.
Actually reached your threshold. All right, just one moment. Okay, so you're pretty much doing what you said you're going to do. I'm going to let you RP that. Let me go and paste down a picture. And
So Goody is, with the knowledge that there are two of them now bearing down, and with the words of Aravu, he picks up his pace and he's moving faster than ever.
Yeah, Aravul, along with Wilward, kind of leading them through these hills, trying to, move quickly, but at the same time keep them from obviously being seen, as now he thinks that their ploy has worked and it is now their time to try to survive. And he moves quickly, but is trying to stay hidden. And then he rounds a couple switchbacks and tries to find a spot where he can overlook the bridge without being seen, obviously.
so Airful, are you by yourself, or just everybody can kind of see down there?
Yeah. I would lead everybody to where we can all see.
So looking down over the bridge at this point, you do not see anything there. A Yeah, you don't see anything from this far away.
Two. Who's got the best stealth besides Goody?
Goody, I have that power, so I can do that.
I would not let you go.
What stealth?
It's probably me.
I have 2.
3 here.
You know, so Aravul would... He waits, you know, he's waiting for, 15 minutes just watching. And he turns to Aglaron and he says, "Brother, I must ask you to get closer and see if you can see anyone hiding or anything amiss. I think you are likely the best candidate to do so. If you do see something, flee. Return here unseen and report what you see. If you cannot flee, try to make some sign, perhaps. A flaming arrow or simply an arrow shot in this direction. We'll keep our eyes out."
Might kill you, know him.
Well, he'll miss everybody. What are you talking about?
I'll go with the elf. I'm quite sneaky myself.
Arvul gives you a dubious look. Not like he almost doesn't believe it.
Kind of tucks away some golden pieces that jingle. I can be quiet as a mouse if I need to be, Edival. It's most of the time I don't.
You must stop from protecting me too much. I can do this. I can blend, I can disappear, I can let us know if there is danger on the bridge. We will need Aglaron in the fight. They will not find me. They cannot.
Bo, do you mind if he rolls like some sort of persuasion against me? Because I don't know that I would...
No, I think that's awesome. Do a oppose.
Yes, opposed persuasion.
I guess I would probably roll... I could just roll like straight valor or something. I don't know. What do you think?
Aglaron is just sort of slowly shaking his head in a negative at this
Yeah.
point.
Or you can just do like a TN. I mean, it's up to Bo. What he wants, but...
Yeah, do Valor. That'd be fine.
And I'll do persuade.
Yes. Let the dice decide.
Arvul sees Grimmer and Aglaron both attempting to do this, and although he mistrusts Grimmer a little bit and that he can be sneaky, he begins to listen to Goodwill and knows that he is clearly the most correct choice for this. And he knows that they all will suffer the same fate if they fail. And the best chance for them to all succeed is to let Goody take his own destiny into his hands. And he kneels down on the rocky path on the mountain or the hill, looks Goodwill in the eye, and kind of claps him on the back, and he says, "Good luck then, Goodwill. Tuk. Remember, any sign or not, return here. Do not go on the open, no matter what. If you're forced to flee, jump into the river and swim."
Yes. I will not fail you. I will I will not fail the rest of you. And Goodwill looks around. I will disappear into the mist like a rabbit getting away from its prey. But if I am to be caught or to be seen, I will jump into the river, as you say, and listen for the splash I reveal, and Goodwill tries to kind of lighten the mood. It will be a big one. And then you know that we are upon us. But I will find you if that were to happen. I will find you all.
And Goody, before you jump in, tear off the ring and throw it in the river on the opposite side of the bridge if you can. Hopefully they think it is their prey and they will not bother you until they find it and realize it is a decoy. It may give us some time. He shrugs. Everything is uncertain.
Goodwill nods his head.
Do not be brave, Master Hobbit.
No, Aglaron. I shall not be. I shall use that which hobbits are known for, that which the world does not expect hobbits to do. I shall mask my bravery in hobbit sense. I shall hide, I shall blend. The only brave aspect of me will be going down there, but everything else will be like a hobbit, scurrying around in the shadows, in the darkness, where no eyes can see me, up to no good, being a burglar and a thief. I can do this.
Aravul takes a deep breath, and he'll lead Goodwill down to where it's a clear path for him to go towards the bridge. And when they get to that area, he simply says, "Good luck, Goodwill. We'll be watching."
Goodwill takes a breath, and he tells Aravul, "Keep these with you." And he keeps the light bringer with him. Goody keeps light bringer with him, but gives Aravul the all other weapons, just in case. I do not want anything to give my position away. And if I'm running, none of these will be useful to me.
No weapon will be useful against them. And he takes Goody's very small bow.
And my shot. Yeah, I'll keep the light bringer, but everything else I'll do. And with that, Goody starts to trek down the hills towards the base, and then he will pause once he can see the bridge in the distance. And at that point, I will use a hope to activate Art of Disappearing.
So you wind your way down the hills as the sun is 3/4 of the way down the horizon in the west over the lone lands. Far to your right, many, many leagues away, are snow-capped mountains that reflect hues of purple and blue over the river Horwell that's on your right as well. As Goodwill picks his way down the path, the grass is taller than himself, and any but the most discerning eye, he would just be like a rustle of wind in the heather. Eventually he picks his way down to the road, looks to his left and right, and seeing nothing there, he inches forward, and you can RP that.
And as Goodwill gets to the bridge, he kind of he turns his head around, looks towards the hills from where he came, and he pictures the worrying face of Aravul the stoic face of Berendir and Grimur, and the steely, far-seeing eyes of Aglaron and Wilward. He knows that they are watching him, even though they may not be able to see him. And he feels protected, even though they're not by his side. He knows they will always be by his side. And with that, he kind of looks up into the sky and he wonders how he came about to this place, how a hobbit, even with Tookish blood, and maybe in his case twice the Tookish blood, could be here of all places, sneaking upon things that he cannot comprehend, things that can just cast him aside with the flick of a sword. But then he remembers Aravil's words of how everything will burn if each of them are not to succeed. He remembers the young and still innocent faces of the 4 hobbits that have left their shire and everything that they knew to be safe. And he knows somewhere else great men like Aragorn and wizards like Gandalf are still struggling against the shadow. He feels this is his little way of doing his bit for the greater good, and so be it. With that, he takes a deep breath, crouches low to the ground, and disappears into the scenery.
As Goodwill gets closer and closer to the bridge, he strains ears, he listens to the wind. He hears the chirping of birds in the spring and senses nothing out of the place. He comes upon a green glinting light in the grass. Reaching down, he picks it up and looks at it. It's a pale green stone that from his time in Rivendell, Goodwill would know as a beryl. It's a jewel that's held to be precious by the elves.
And Goodwill looks at it and he says, "Yes, I know someone who I can give this to for his what's the word? His welcoming house has been the one anchor in all this. Yes." And Goodwill smiles at the thought of that, pockets the beryl and continues to make his way to the bridge.
From the east, as you make your way close to the bridge, you hear galloping hooves. You hear them start to slow, and then they come to a clop, 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 clop. From the far end of the bridge, you expect to see a rider in black, but yet your heart is glad. You see a white horse over the edge of the bridge, and a cloaked figure gallop to the top of the bridge and stop over the water. 2 pale hands reach out from beneath the cloak and throw the hood back. And you see a tall, proud elf surveying the River Horwell, standing guard. You know this face.
Oh, man.
It is the face of the Orthanor.
I knew it.
And we will
I
end
knew
it
it.
there.
Oh shit!
I knew it.
All right. I'm stopping.